All right, so how can you charge more for your SMMA services? Specifically, I'm going to talk about how I was actually able to charge in our dental agency $12,000 for our services. Now, you could probably charge more than this. To be honest, your fees really just depend on what is the outcome that you are providing. And then on top of that, I usually like to do a 1 to 10 ratio, right? So if I make somebody $100,000, then it's fair for me to ask them for $10,000, right? And so our average client would actually make $40,000 within the first 30 days of working with us. So I think it's fair for me to have charged $4,000 a month. I charge 12,000. Now, the reason why I was able to charge 12,000 was because it was a 4-month program. This was a program that we created in the dental space. So technically it was $3,000 a month. But like I said, I probably could have charged 16,000, and that was actually something in our price point. But what we did for our clients is that we said, hey, you can either pay us 16,000, or if you sign up today, you can actually save $4,000. And so most people took us up on that offer, and that's exactly what happened. I'll show you screenshots here in a little bit if you don't believe me. But what we're gonna dive into today is the 5 levers that you can pull to actually charge more, how you can earn the right to charge more, because I feel like this is a big thing. I was having a conversation with this guy who's a little bit younger, and he's, yeah, man, I want to go in there and I want to charge like $4,000 off the bat. I'm like, dude, hold on. Like, you have to earn the right to charge more, right? Unless you're like super good at sales and you can convince somebody. But if you have zero experience, you have zero case studies, then coming in right off the bat and charging a ton, it's going to be tough, man. Like, my first client, when it came to just providing these kinds of services, I think was at like $1,200 or $1,500 a month. So I would say that's pretty fair. We're talking about tactical ways that you can actually do this. And then what I recommend instead of SMMA, I'll talk about that towards the end. And then what my recommendations are, because I do think that SMMA, it can be flawed, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So why should you listen to me? So I built 2 7-figure agencies, one called Everable and the other one called Engage. Arable, we built it in the medical aesthetic space. So I've actually been working with medical spas since 2015, for almost a decade now. And I've actually been in the agency game for almost 15 years. I started in 2010, and I actually started back in the day before SMMA was even a term. Like, I've literally seen the agency space evolve. And so I've been in it for a while, right? I'm not some teen, I'm not a 20-year-old. I wasn't an overnight success either. So Engage was our dental agency. And if you want to go take a look at our Instagrams, they're right here. You can go and check them out. Funnel Hack what we got. We scaled to $1.5 million a year, and then I removed myself from the day-to-day. So this is pretty cool. I'm actually really proud of this, because not a lot of agency owners are actually able to say that they got to remove themselves from their agency. Usually they get stuck in fulfillment, they get stuck in doing client success, or in sales. I was actually able to remove myself from all of those 3, and I was just pretty much involved in doing marketing for the business and taking like leadership meetings. And then I also did have an operations manager, so they did handle the day-to-day, which was really cool. We hit our first million back in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, which was something that I'm also like super grateful for. And then the year after we hit 1.5, and then in 2022, we did 1.5 as well. We're still sorting out 2023 and our taxes and stuff like that. I did get to work with Hermosi one-on-one. So Hermosi did get to mentor me. So basically what happened was that our dental agency back in 2020, I was actually one of the first users of Alex Allen software. And so we came out into market with that offer that was like really unique, super new. And we were able to get our dental agency from $0 to $100,000 in 90 days. And that was because Alex told us that if you get to 100K a month, I will personally work with you one-on-one. And so we got there in 3 months. I got to kind of join the inner circle, and I had a few calls with them. I wish I had some screenshots. I do have, obviously, my right there. Do you see that? That's a little plaque. That's from Alan that says that we hit the 100K club or whatever. I'll post a picture here if you want to see that. I also made my clients more than $10 million in revenue. This is, you can go to practicealigner.com. You can go to LP. Actually, there's a better website. I will actually drop it here right now. You can actually go to practicealigner.com or go to this URL right here. I'm not even going to try to spell it out. And you can just take a look at all the money we've helped make our clients. And this is kind of like my testimonial wall. This is for my dental clients. If you go to this one, you can see some of the results we've gotten for our med spa clients. Hopefully you didn't hear that. That's my son. He's downstairs. But yeah, and so when we first started our dental agency, we first started charging like 2K retainers, and then we quickly went up to charging up to 6K setup fees. I'm sorry, not retainers, setup fees. And then we actually built that 4-month program, and that was a $12,000 program that we called Invisalign. Invisalign, the manufacturer, actually reached out to us. They're like, hey, you can't use our name in your business. So we had to change it to Practice Aligner. And those with these payments are here. These are all different doctors that we worked with. So that's why you should listen to me. Hopefully you don't think I'm some fraud or a scam, but yeah, you can check me out. So in order for you to charge more for your services and to not be a commodity in the marketplace, then you have to take into consideration the 5 pillars of what I call of acquisition, right? And so this has basically been the evolution of a typical marketing agency or an SMMA or whatever you want to call it, right, in the space. You know, when I first started, this was back in 2015. This was when like Billie Jean first came into the market and teaching people how to start their own agency and stuff like that. It was really all about getting leads. If you can get leads for your clients, then that was the new shiny object. Nobody was really using Facebook ads to help their clients get leads. And so this was when the whole SMMA gold rush first happened. Billie Jean, Tai Lopez. I never took Tai Lopez stuff. I was just always exposed to Billie Jean, and that's who I learned stuff from. But then you quickly would have realized that if you wanted to actually keep your clients, then you had to evolve, right? You had to get better. You had to improve your product. And you actually couldn't just get them leads. You actually had to help them with other stuff, which was ultimately getting those leads to book appointments. And so that became the next thing. And for those of you post high level like me, man, we had a Frankenstein, a set of tools that based between like Google Sheets and Active Campaign and tools to send text messages, a tool to send emails, and Zapier connecting everything. Like, it was intense. Thank God for high level. They came in, saved the day, made everything easier for us. For those of you who never got to experience that, you guys are lucky and you have no clue how fortunate and entitled you all are. So you should just be appreciative. So you help people book appointments, cool, right? But what happens is that some of these people don't end up showing, right? So the next evolution is like getting those leads to actually show up, right? So if you wanted to do better, then if you want to keep your clients longer, then you had to help them with solve this problem too. And then, hey, it's not enough that they show up. If they don't buy, well, obviously if your client isn't making money, then ultimately they're not going to keep you, right? So you had to help them get those leads to buy. And then the ultimate one, most people do the 4 pillars. I actually do 5 pillars, because if you can actually help your clients serve those leads, then you will actually be a step ahead of everybody else. And so ultimately, guys, this is how you stop being a commodity. This is how you actually have real impact. And if you want to charge more for your services, then you need to actually get good at solving all of these 5 different problems. And so this has been the evolution, right? This has been the whole thing about, if you want to earn the right to charge more, then you have to solve a bigger problem. And the way to dissect that and look at it through this framework, if you do, this will actually allow you to charge more, right? And so let's dive into each one. Like I said, I'm gonna give you tactical ways that you can obviously improve upon all of these 5 things, and also giving you examples of how we did it. Now, that said, if you're new, don't freak out, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a lot of work, but this isn't something that gets built overnight, okay? I don't want you to think, oh my God, I have to figure out how to serve help my clients, like serve their leads better. Like, dude, chill the F out. That's like an advanced strategy, and you could still be charging anywhere from, $1,000 to $2,000 just by doing the whole typical agency, which now it's actually very easy with high level if you just do these 3 things, okay? If you want a competitive advantage and charge more like we did, you can obviously do these other things. but so on and so forth. Now, also, how much you can charge will also just depend on which industry you're in, right? If you can help make your clients a ton of money, like maybe like dental implants, for example. So average sale value for dental implants is $10,000 to $20,000, right? So if you help a client make that much money in the first few months, and just in the first month, actually, if you help them make $100,000 within month one, well, then you can charge them $10,000 a month. And so it really just goes back down. Like, you might be in real estate, you might be in mortgage, you might be in just some other random industry. It's always good to go after an industry, and I'll make another video later talking about niching and different things like that, selecting a niche, but go where the money is. Like Hormozi says, solve rich people's problems. All right. So anyway, let's talk about getting leads. So, okay, this is where most SMMAs stay, or I guess where they start. And this is why a lot of them are a commodity, unfortunately, right? It's that everyone provides leads, and it's the easiest thing that you can do. You can get away charging anywhere from $500 to $1,500, right? Depending on the industry. Like I said, how much money can you make them? And don't get me wrong, there are some industries where this is all you have to do. That's all they need. Like, I think solar, for example, if you're in the solar industry and you already work with somebody that has a call center, has a really badass sales process, and all they want is more leads, well, then just get them more leads, right? Depending on the quality of leads, and if you have some kind of like secret sauce to get them super high quality leads, then ultimately you can charge more because your efficiency is a lot higher. And so I'll do a separate training on this later. I actually, in one of my previous videos where I talk about how to get massive results for my clients, I do actually a full breakdown of how we go about advertising and how we craft offers for our clients and how you should think about it. But just to give you a basic breakdown, it's like you have your ad, you want to advertise an introduction offer, and then the client would then upsell the core offer. The problem here is that a lot of people actually want to sell the core offer up front. They want to sell the high ticket service up front, but it's asking somebody to marry you before they ever even know you. So it's kind of like the typical strategy when you go to HEB or you go to Costco or Sam's, right? It's like they have food tasting. It's like, hey, first try it. And if you like it, then you can buy the big thing. And so every time they've done that, sales increase, right? Like, you can go look at the studies, but every time they do that, they get more people buying. They sell more of the thing. And so I would always look at, your client's always going to want to sell the core offer, okay? But if you look at what is it that ultimately, how can they break that apart and ultimately sell something that is more of an introduction offer, like more of a taste and see, right? What is like the small thing that they can offer, and then get them to come in on that on a low ticket price, and then you can upsell them, right? And so now, mind you, you could just advertise the core offer. We've done it all the time, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. And so the way that this is best broken down is like product, price, and offer. And so to me, it's, if you were doing something like laser hair removal, then you want to sell like maybe the small area instead of a big area. And so you could do $99 for a small area, and then the upsell or the core offer would be a big bundle, right? Where you buy maybe all of your legs or your arms or full body, right? And that we're talking about $1,000 like treatment. For Botox, you can do a Botox bundle, and you can sell that for, $199. We do this all the time for our clients for 20 units. And then you can upsell the transformation, right? So a lot of clients want to sell the big thing up front. It's like, no, dude, get them into the office, build a relationship with them, do the consult, build some rapport, and then introduce financing so they can have newfound money and ultimately upsell them into the big thing, right? Instead of them coming and spending $199 for just Botox, now they're spending $199 a month, which they can't afford, but they just bought a $5,000 package. And we have a client that does this, and she does this really well. She gets like a 15 times return on ad spend. It's ridiculous. If you're like home improvement, like I have a client right now who does like water heater flushes. The client obviously wants water heater replacements. That's like the big ticket thing. But the foot in the door is a water heater flush, which is only $99. And then they go in there, they do the inspection, so on and so forth. Boom, upsell to replacement, upsell to a membership program, right? Same thing for like dentists. Like, you come in on a new patient special, $99. Oh, they come in, they see that you're missing all these teeth, they see that you have some cavities or whatever, boom, upsell to additional treatment, right? Guys, this is how a typical franchise model works, right? Every time there's a new franchise, like a chiropractor, a dentist, or just like a massage place, like whatever it is, what do? They send out mailers, and then those mailers has an introduction offer, like, hey, we're new in the community, come check us out, whatever, right? And it's just like a $50, $100 program or whatever special. They come in, boom, they upsell them. So this is the typical Russell Brunson value ladder. It works. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just get your clients to implement something like this, right? Now, if you're doing something like high ticket, what I do for high ticket is I do like product, and then I basically introduce price, right? So it's like, you want Invisalign? It's $99 a month, man. Now, you could put the full price on there. That's fine. I like to leverage financing. It's one of the ways that we help our clients craft offers. If that's something you want to know more about, I have a full training that's 3 hours long. It's a 2-part session. You can go check that out. But like implementing financing is one of the biggest levers that you can pull to help your clients make more money. So I definitely recommend, because all you're doing is lowering the barrier of entry and you're getting more people to say yes, right? So $99 a month, co-sculpting, hey, $500 off plus $199 a month, right? Or $500 down plus $199 a month, whatever, right? So that's the ways you can go about it. But ultimately, what we usually do for our clients, if we're doing something like Facebook ads for them, is that we will actually run 2 campaigns, a low ticket campaign and a high ticket campaign. And that way we don't put all our eggs in one basket, but ultimately we can do something where we can go for volume with the low ticket, and then they can upsell from there, and then we can go high ticket. So that's gonna not bring so much volume, but it'll bring obviously the big whales that come in and spend a good amount of money, which is always pretty awesome. All right, so that's getting leads. Pretty straightforward, guys. Like, it's so freaking easy. Even now with like tools like UpHex that integrate with a high level, like your clients can do this. That's why it's a commodity, because almost everybody can do it, unless you come up with some really cool strategic stuff to really help your clients like craft some badass offers. And I'll actually give you our winning offer, like the offer that we use to help all these clients make a crap ton of money. Our best client right here, $99,000 within 2 freaking days. And so the way we did that, we helped our clients make a ton of money, $80,000 in 7 days, 59 in 5 days, 50 in 4 days, 78 in 5 days, 74 in 5 days. The way that we did that was by having a killer offer that is new and that was just ridiculous. And basically it was Invisalign, and the offer was $2,000 off plus $0 down. Now, if you're not in the industry, you probably are just like, okay, whatever, that sounds like not a big deal. But the thing that really turned heads here was actually the $0 down. Because if you know the industry, then you know that people can't do $0 down on Invisalign, because the client, the dentist, has a massive upfront cost. Like, they have a lab fee that's anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000. And so they can't do $0 down to start the treatment, because they would be losing out a lot of money, right? And so all we did here was implement financing, and we basically said, we thought out of the box, right? That's why it was unheard of in the industry. Later, other people started copying us, whatever. But it was so cool because it was unheard of. And so when people saw that, they were just like, oh, okay, this is it. I want this, right? And so we were always innovating. And so you have to be innovating. If not, you'll stay a commodity, whatever. And so $0 down, we, like I said, implemented financing, because it was technically $0 out of pocket because they got third-party financing. And then the clients got paid up front, and then the customer was basically just paying per month. So that was how we innovated there. Number 2 was, so how do you get those leads to actually book appointments? And so if you're savvy, like most agencies do, now they're using high level, right? And if you're not using high level, if you're an actual agency, then what the hell are you doing? You should definitely be using high level. I have a 30-day free trial link somewhere around here. If you want to sign up for that, then by all means. And the thing is, like, you have to solve the speed to lead problem. Like, clients just won't do it. Like, most local businesses just suck. Like, they're not great. They don't really know how to follow up with leads. They don't know how to nurture them. They don't know how to sell them. They don't know how to get them to show up. So the more you take this upon yourself and you help them solve that problem, then the more money you're gonna make, okay? Because you're solving a bigger problem, right? And so you can definitely use high level to do this, right? And if you don't want your clients to fire you within the first month, that's what was happening to us. We would generate a ton of leads, but then they wouldn't close any of them because none of them would book, or not many of them would book. And then they couldn't justify paying us or keeping us, so we would lose them, right? So we were like, okay, what do we do? Well, we solve the problem for them, right? And so there's 5 ways that you can ultimately tackle this problem. And so number 1 is that you can actually build a funnel so that people book online. So with high level, you can implement the calendar. There are definitely some things here that you have to take into consideration depending on which industry you're in. In the medical industry, it can be a little difficult because they already have a calendar and they already have people showing up for that calendar. And so if you can't integrate them, which a lot of medical softwares don't integrate, well, then it's just going to be hard to get people to book, right? So what you can do is you can do like appointment requests, which I honestly don't recommend it. Just because like it creates confusion and all that stuff. Like, your clients just really need to be on point when it comes to approving those requests and reaching out to people and stuff like that. What we would do, and this kind of made things a lot more simple because you're also trying to reduce the layers of complexity, right? Like, if you're trying to do a calendar integration, there's so many ways that can go wrong. And so to avoid all the troubleshooting, your clients complaining, we would actually tell our clients to give us an open calendar. Now, again, this is going to be very dependent on the industry that you're in, because open calendar for us, we could do it for dentists. We couldn't do it for med spas because dentists have enough staff members and enough rooms to just circulate all of those members. So it doesn't matter if they were double booked or triple booked. People come in and they get rotated amongst like the office manager, the hygienist, and the dentist, you know what I mean? And so like every rotates and they have a bunch of rooms. So it's fine. So they would just give us an open calendar. We would just put the dates on there, like as far as like their hours of operation, and we would just go ham on just booking people, which was awesome. So number 2 is that you can actually use AI tools that actually respond to the leads and then book the leads through a series of text messages. This is actually something we're playing with right now. We're actually using ZappyChat AI to do this. ZappyChat and Capri are the most common solutions out there. There's definitely more of them. They're not perfect, okay? Like, AI isn't perfect. We've definitely faced a lot of challenges and issues when it actually has come to implementing this. So you could use this. I mean, we still use this, don't get me wrong. I think we found ways to make it a little bit more bearable, but it still requires like account management. And honestly, if I wasn't so deep into the hole at this point, I would do something else. This is actually what I would recommend. Editor Luis here. And so in this part of the video, I was talking about how like you could use ZappyChat human rollover. Unfortunately, I just found out that they're actually closing that part of the business because they're going to solely focus on AI. So man, that kind of sucks because that was my recommended approach for most people. So honestly, at this point, my recommendation would actually be that you actually bring on a VA that's gonna function as a setter for your clients. Now, the easiest way to do this is actually just through messaging. So they would use a tool like High Levels Eliza, and they would basically just text back all the people and then work towards scheduling them for an appointment. If you can find somebody that also does calls, well then, that's gonna be awesome. But definitely, I think the lowest barrier of entry is just bringing in somebody who's just going to use text messages. And honestly, text messages and our show rates and clients' performance with that has actually been really good. So if you're just trying to get into it, that would be my first recommendation. And then if you want to go the more advanced route, getting somebody that can actually do the calls would be the way to go. So let's go back to the video. You could also hire a third-party call center. We actually did this for a while. I also didn't like it because I can't control quality assurance, and it's just like very complex, and it like the systems and operations that are attached to that are also just kind of like annoying, and so I don't recommend it. Or you can build out a call center. We actually had setters that would do this. We actually had a live transfer model that we did for quite some time. But now you have to actually build a whole different business, right? It's like a call center. It's not a marketing agency. It's a call center, right? So if you have no freaking clue how to run a call center, well then good luck to you. But you could hire just one person to do it. My only thing here is don't use just regular high level to do this. Sign up for High Level's Eliza platform, which basically it's like a platform that was built specifically for this. And what it allows you to do is you can see all of your clients' accounts under one interface. So that way you don't have to be switching between like multiple accounts to do this. And so definitely sign up for Eliza. Not a lot of people know about it. You can also so it's 6 ways. You can also teach your clients how to do it themselves, right? Give them scripts. If you need a script, shoot me a DM. I'll send you mine. All right. Like this is definitely the easiest, but you're then not 100% solving the problem for them. So you have to give them coaching and training. You have to be on top of them to do it. But it's definitely the simplest when it comes to just operations and tools and systems, because obviously all these other things like, especially 2 to 5, they all cost money. Okay. So that's my recommendation when it comes to getting more leads to book. And number 3, how do you actually get these leads to show up? So no shows are like plaguing the industry, super difficult. Now, I will say that if you have a badass intro offer, then a lot of these problems like become not as big of a deal, right? Like I've talked to some people where they're getting like 10 to 20% show rates. I have clients right now that are running like an intro offer and they get 60 to 80% show rates. Okay. Which is like really good in the industry. It really just goes back down to having a good offer, because here's the thing, like all you have to do is, so your product price and offer have to be competitive in the marketplace, right? And then because all people want to do is they want to make a wise purchasing decision. And this is why I'm also big on price. Like people need to know up front how much they're going to spend, right? I get really fired up about this because I tell people, look, man, like you are doing the most difficult thing that you could probably do right now. That's why you deserve to get paid for this and you deserve to get compensated well for it, because they like the client can't freaking do it. You know what I mean? And so the fact that you're helping them solve the biggest problem that they have in their business, which is solving the problem of where their next client's going to come from. Yeah, like it is freaking hard. You know what I mean? And so I tell people like, look, man, especially in the medical industry, it's dealing with women, right? And even in most medical industries, like I guess specifically med spas and dental and ortho, it's like you're dealing with women, right? And so it's, look, we have a mom that works, that takes care of kids and, whatever else, right? You're basically telling them that they need to find time in their day, whether that's figuring out who's going to take care of their kids after school, how they're going to get time off work, and whatever else, to drive 30 to 60 minutes to come and see you for a consult that they have no idea if they're going to be able to afford or not, and therefore they're going to waste their time, right? People just want to make a wise purchasing decision. So help them do that up front. And in today's economy, people need to know how much they're going to spend, right? Because they need to budget for the thing that they want to do. And so that's why, I'm like super big on this. And so I feel like if you can show price, if you can have a competitive offer that is attractive in the marketplace, you can, by just doing that, you can increase your show rate. So let's go back to this. So again, most agencies use High Level too for doing this. You can use obviously appointment reminder sequences, or if you have a call center or a setter, call the leads to confirm the appointments, just typical like workflow stuff. You can teach your clients how to do this too. So you can give them a script on how to do this. So again, shoot me a DM if you want a script for this. You have to get them to show up. Otherwise, like nothing else matters, right? If you get them an appointment, but the appointment doesn't show up, the show rates are horrible. Well, guess what? They're going to fire you, right? So it's just ultra important. And so the thing that I like to do here, and this is what I ask myself in every single step of the client journey, is what can I do to incentivize someone to take action today versus tomorrow, right? That is the golden question here that you need to be asking yourself. If you want to get results for yourself as you're growing your own business, but then your client's business as well, right? Because we're in the business of solving problems, of helping people grow their business. So What are some ways that you can do this? So we would actually do this. We had incentives to get people to book their appointment. So incentive number one, and then we would basically incentivize people to show up. Okay. So it was just like, hey, if you book an appointment to right now, we're gonna give you an extra whatever, right? 5% off. We're gonna give you an extra thing. We're gonna give you $50 off the next treatment. We're gonna give $50 off filler. We're gonna give you a free face mask. We're gonna give you a Starbucks gift card. I don't know, like whatever it is that you can do to get them to show up. And same thing for the show offers. Like you can just, mix and match, use incentives, right? So ask your clients, like, what is something that you're willing to give as part of a bundle, as part of a package, if somebody does come in and ultimately buys your services, right? So you can do a show offer, hey, if you show and buy, right? That way they just showed up to get the free thing. It's like, a lot of times the free thing won't matter unless they buy, right? So, just keep that in mind. But there's like different things that you can do here. So like I said, you can, like we normally do, it's if show up, you'll get a $50 off voucher for purchasing filler. You can do a free face mask. You can also do, like, you can enter them to win into a monthly like prize treatment. That's something we would do for our orthos all the time. You can just give them some clients would do like a Starbucks gift card, or something along those lines. So you can just go to ChatGPT and just, what are incentives to get people to show up to their appointment for local businesses? And it'll give you a ton of things. Obviously, appointment reminders. And then this was actually something that we would do that I kind of thought was pretty unique and not a lot of people would do in the space. And so, like I said, what are some things that you can do to get people to show up and have a better overall experience? Well, first of all, you have to have good speed to lead, right? If somebody texts you back, like replies to an automation, and the client takes 30 minutes to a day to get back to them, well, then you just lost the lead, right? And you lost all credibility because 68% of leads go to the vendor that actually responds first. All right, so that's something just to keep in mind. And you can use that as leverage when you're speaking to your clients and you're trying to motivate them to actually put in the freaking work, dude, to grow your business. Like, I can't do everything for you. So this is why AI is kind of cool in that sense, because AI will reply to leads like this. And honestly, AI, for as much headaches as it's given us, I feel like it's also, when it works, it freaking works. You know what I mean? Which is like obviously pretty cool. Answering well, man, like this is why I also like AI, because AI does a really good job of responding to whatever, someone throws at it. Whereas like clients oftentimes will just phrase things like really poorly. They're obviously in between meetings or in between like seeing patients sometimes or whatever. So they're not even doing a good job of responding to people. They like leave things open-ended. They don't call people to action. Like they just do a horrible job of replying to the leads. So that's why I think like training them and giving them a cheat sheet or something along those lines will actually, improve the quality of that. Again, like AI, I think, does a good job of this. Human rollover, training your own setters is a good way of doing this. Another thing is that the price and the offer is clear. Like sometimes some of you guys are running campaigns and like you only mention the offer and the price in the ad and that's it. Like you never bring it up again. And like people forget, dude, like people, click on things and they don't even know what they click. And so the more you can remind them of what it is they signed up for and how much it cost, then the better, right? Or it's especially if you're doing lead nurturing, somebody signed up for the offer 5 days ago and then you're still nurturing them. Like they obviously forgot, how much it costs. Like people like all the time be like, oh, how much did it cost again? And literally it was in the text above, You can also add location photos, put that on your landing page, put that in your sequences, before and after photos. Showcasing like actual like the owner's faces or the person that they're gonna see, showcasing their faces, because you're trying to build trust and credibility, right? Like a lot of the times people, if they see this on their social media, they're like, how do I know this is not a scam, right? That is the main question that they have and that you're trying to solve for them. So anyway, that's like super important. Reviews, you can also send like screenshots of what their availability is. Timing on follow-ups is also super important. So it's like, at what time are you sending the text messages and at what times are you following up? We send text messages early in the morning and during lunch times. And then we've also just do like around 4:30. So those are like the 3 times that we've seen just work well. And then we do a lot of text blasts and like database reactivation stuff to like get leads that got stuck in like new lead or as a warm lead to reactivate them and then, re-spark them and get them to come back. So this is what I mean. So for example, when a new lead comes in into one of our automations, basically our client they'll be entered into an automation that sends them a text message, right? And then in this text message, we actually add these screenshots. And this is part of the text message. So we show the face, right? We tell them like, hey, this is who I am. This is my title, right? This is the bundle you signed up for. This is for Botox. It's only $199 and it includes all of these things. So 20 units, a $50 filler voucher, a free microneedling, and a comprehensive skin analysis. Okay. These are some before and afters. This is how it works. You're going to schedule a free consult. You're going to get a personalized treatment plan. And then we're going to begin your journey to a more youthful you. Like tell them the 1, 2, 3 of what's going to happen. And then what are the biggest questions people have for whatever service that you're selling? So for us, it was like, oh, how many units will I need? For Botox, that is like the biggest question. So we put a little screenshot here of if you want to target this and that, this is how many units you're going to need. Okay. And then we send another screenshot where it's reviews, where it's like, hey, we got 5-star reviews and we have all of these things that people have said about us that makes us sound and look cool. So do this. It obviously increases credibility and your clients more leads will actually show up. Because that's the other thing too. It's if they don't know where you're located, you can also, we've done this before. We had a screenshot of the actual map, but we actually put that in our locations too. Or you can send that in a text message saying, hey, here's the link, here's where we are. And in our appointment reminder sequences, we actually do send a screenshot and it basically said, we have an arrow that says, I'm located here in between this street and this street, or this, land marker and this land marker. You know what I mean? So we do put that in our text messages, but we do those in our appointment reminders. Whereas we do these like in the initial nurture sequence. Okay. So that's that. Get your leads to show up. Otherwise, clients are going to fire you. And then you have to get those leads to buy, right? So the best thing that you can do here is turn your system into a process, right? And so here's the way that I would go about this. And what I mean by system is that basically this, like once you start working with enough clients, you're going to notice that some clients get great results and other clients, okay, it's just the name of the game. It's just how it is, right? Everything I'm trying to teach you here and everything that you're trying to do is how can I streamline results for clients, right? How can I increase my success rate for my clients? Our success rate was 88%, meaning that 88% of our clients got a 3 times return on investment in working with us. So if we were charging them 12, then they were making 36, okay? Because that was our guarantee. So we had an 88% success rate. And I have data on all of this, which is really cool. It's one of the things Hormozi always like preach to us. So once you notice which clients are getting the best results, right? You're gonna want to interview those people, okay, that are crushing it. And you're gonna ask them good questions, all right? To reveal what is it that they're doing to succeed, okay? So I literally paid clients to do this. I'm like, hey, can I pay you $500 to sit down with me for an hour and just ask you a few questions of how you're able to get good results, right? You don't have to pay them, but since I'm working with like doctors and obviously they value their money and their time and stuff like that, I was just trying to sweeten the deal so they wouldn't say no to me, because I really wanted to know. So you can ask them, and then if they say no, you're like, okay, well, what if I pay you for your time? So I would sit down with my clients through Zoom and I would ask them a bunch of questions. And I literally would have them like A through Z outline their entire process. What's the follow-up process look like? What is your staff doing? What are they saying? What happens when they come in? What's the sales process? How do you ask for money? What's the call to action? What happens after they leave? You know what I mean? Like literally everything in regards to what happens when a lead gets generated and then what do you do after that? So then you're going to document that. So make sure to hit record. And you're going to turn it into a cheat sheet, into a course, etc., into a free training or something that then you give off to your other clients. So turn it into a playbook and then give it to your clients. And so you can either teach this yourself and offer it as weekly coaching, or we actually started doing this. We actually hired a coach. Like we hired our clients to coach our other clients. Okay. And so I actually have a little screenshot here that I guess I didn't post, but here it is. And so this is essentially what we did, where it was just like, hey, meet your coaches. This was actually one of our clients, and we helped him grow from 25K a month to 215K in less than 12 months. And then this lady here is actually a renowned sales trainer in the dental industry, and we became good friends with her. And I was like, hey, can you come on to our program and we'll give you money every time you coach somebody. So it was part of like our deliverables. They got a one-on-one coaching session with this lady here who was legit in the space. Now, key thing here that I want you guys to know, guys, this is like super important. So like I was saying earlier, you have to streamline getting results for clients. And so the key thing here is that you have to force them to do things your way. Okay. If you want to get the highest success rate possible, they can't do things their own way. And so what I mean by creating a playbook, it's look, this is the playbook, this is the play, and all you need to do is run it. And if you run it, you'll make an average of $40,000 within the first 30 days of working with us. And so what did that mean? That means that they have to use our offer. They have to do the ads that we tell them to do. They have to use our financing partner. They have to follow our sales process. They have to go through our course, right? Like literally everything, right? And so this was the course. I basically interviewed this guy, and then I turned it into a course. And so this was the course that clients had to go through, okay? And that was how we did it, all right? Now, mind you guys, once you start getting here, this is obviously like super advanced stuff. This is not stuff that happens overnight. This is why I'm saying like don't get overwhelmed, because this is something that you will evolve into as you keep, and it's optional. You don't have to do it. But again, if you want to get your clients more results, if you want to charge more for your services, then you can do this. I honestly don't always recommend it. It really just depends on what industry you're in. And for some people it makes sense. For some people it doesn't, So yeah, there's that. This was for our dentist. This was actually for our med spa clients. So we had like a sales mastermind, and this was like one of our clients who became like a coach in our program. And then that's how we did that. And then the last thing is like serving those clients, right? And so for serving those clients, obviously it's hard to fully teach your clients how to deliver if you're not actually that same kind of professional, right? I'm not a dentist, so it's hard for me to coach them on stuff like that. But this is where you can actually hire, again, one of your clients to coach, or there's some things that you can do, right? And so what we would do is that we would, we taught our clients how to structure their event day. So that was one of our strategies. That was the 4-month program. And I guess I can break down in another video what was the actual deliverables for that $12,000 4-month program, because it involved implementing events for our clients. That's how we helped them make so much money very early on. So we literally taught them we basically told them look, during these events, you will not do any treatments during this time. It's all pure sales. And we literally taught them how to manage the patients as they came in and how to deal with them. So how to speak to them, how to do the consult, how to do the sales process, how to move them between different rooms and what to say and different things like that. So it was literally all of that. And then, and that's basically what this was how they greet their visitors and how to manage the operations from the day-to-day process, so on and so forth. So hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully it's been valuable for you guys. So the last thing here is, what do I recommend instead of SMMA? A lot of people think SMMA is saturated. I personally don't think so. I think people are hungry for an actual result. And what I essentially have here, and this is kind of what we've kind of done, and what I help people do, is implementing more so of a productized SWAS agency. SWAS stands for software with a service, all right? And so I feel this model solves a lot of the big problems that the typical SMMA model has, because typical SMMA model, you're focused on doing Facebook ads for clients, but as you know, getting results for those kinds of clients, if you're just doing ads itself, can be very difficult because they're very cold leads. And again, they need to have their shit together if they actually want to get a good result. So your success rate will actually not be great if you're just doing leads like that. So the productized agency for me solves a lot of problems. And so the goal with the SWAS, productized SWAS agency, is freedom on demand, man. If you want to know my full backstory, I have a video here called From Fuck Up to a $1.5 million a year SMMA owner, because I I was a fuck up. And like I said, I wasn't an overnight success. And it took me a really long time to get to where I'm at today. Granted, I didn't have a lot of the resources and knowledge that is available for free, like what I'm doing right now, that there was back in the day. But there's a lot of things that I feel like SMMA people can struggle with. And we actually got to a point where we were making good money. Like I said, still got to remove myself. But our agency was actually like really stressful. And I got also to the point where I'm no longer in my 20s. Like I did the whole hustle and grind thing. I worked 12, 16 hours a day. I talk about this in that video of mine. I work 7 days a week. Look, man, like once you hit your 30s, once you get married, and not once you get married, once you start having a family. And for me, what happened is that my dad passed in 2021, and then 45 days later, my son was born. So literally like the cycle of life is happening before my eyes. And it just really puts things in perspective and makes you like wonder, what the hell am I doing? You know, like why am I sacrificing myself for my business, for my money, when there's obviously more important things in life, right? And so if you're in your 20s, you want to hustle and grind and scale this to the moon, by all means, go and do it. But for me, with the SWAS agency, is that I've gotten the best of both worlds of what I learned in between working in my dental agency and my med spa agency. And I've basically combined that into one. And I've taken all the pros from both of those. And this is what I've called it. And so the freedom with this whole model the goal with this whole model is freedom on demand, dude. That's my thing. Freedom on demand. And so the goal here is that you want to maintain a 50% profit margin, if not more. All right. Look, making all this money and having the screenshots of the 7 figures and whatnot, like it's cool. But what's more important is profitability, right? Like how much money can you actually take home? And so definitely, I feel like this model solves that. It's also going to allow you to just take home a 6-figure income. And to me, this is the best part, is that you're really only working a few hours a week, okay? Because to me, my business is a means to an end. I have other passions. I want to travel on demand, go on dates on demand with my wife. I want to spend time with my son on demand. I want to go pursue other passions. Like I'm passionate about photography. I'm passionate about camping and wildlife. I want to do some overlanding. I want to do more videography work. I want to shoot like documentaries and stuff like that. There's just other things I enjoy doing, man. And I said this in that video, like I also, if I just want to like fuck off, I just want to fuck off, right? If I want to work really hard, I'm going to work really hard, right? But having that flexibility, to me, that's freedom, right? And so my whole thing with this agency is that it's low maintenance, it's peaceful, and it's profitable, right? And the cool thing is that 90% can be delegated, but you have to set it up the right way. And this is why, again, like I said, I've kind of taken the pros of these two agencies and what I learned and kind of combined it into one. And so the whole idea with the productized service is that you can get clients results, right? It's a streamlined process to get clients results. And it's simple to implement. And this is key because our agencies were very complex, okay? And when you have a complex agency, you have to hire like really talented people. Otherwise, they're gonna make mistakes, which is gonna add to your stress. And then on top of that, you're never gonna actually be able to create a streamlined process so that you can actually delegate it to someone else, okay? And so the 2 key things here is that it needs to be productized and streamlined so you can get clients results and so you can delegate it to someone else. All right. So this will get your clients to stay for a long time, right? And since the process is simple, you can easily delegate it, make a process out of it and delegate it to a VA. Now, you still obviously have to pay for software and, kind of build a team and stuff like that. But I think like my main thing here is you can have a small team, 3 to 4 people, and you can still maintain a 50% profit margin, and you can charge anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500 just for doing this. And you're solving the biggest problem there is, right? This is how you can charge a good amount of money for it. You can basically do these 3 things. You can also provide support with this, but do simple stuff like cheat sheets and whatnot. But the main thing is you're really focusing on these 2 pillars right here, number 2 and 3, okay? And so the whole idea is that the biggest problem people have is the speed to lead problem. They can't get people to book and they can't get people to show up, okay? So it's better than SMA because you're actually dealing with warm leads. And so what we do is we use something called cache injection campaigns, also known as database reactivation campaigns, so DR campaigns, right? And the cool thing about this is that if you work with a client that already has an existing database of existing either clients or just existing leads, is that those leads are actually warmer leads than cold leads that you would generate from actual Facebook ads. And so these people already know and trust the client, so it's actually a lot easier to get them results. Guys, we do these cash injection campaigns for all of our clients. Like the way that we got clients crazy results very early on was because we would do a cash injection campaign and then we would do ads for them too. Okay, so we always have done both in our agencies, and this has kind of been the key, implementing the cash injection campaigns, because that's the first thing we do for clients. And when we actually do that for our clients, it gets them a massive result because it's low-hanging fruit. And then they trust us a lot more. They lower their guard. They respect us. So it's kind of like that one hack that I actually would recommend for most agencies. Okay. So this is basically the deliverables of a SWAS agency, where it's just like you're implementing high level, right? And then you're going to use high level. So that's the software with the service. So the software is high level. And then within high level, you can do the cash injection campaign. So that'll get your clients quick results. Now, you run the reactivation campaign, and then you can do lead nurturing and appointment booking. So I have clients that just do lead nurturing. So they follow up with the leads until they're ready to say, yes, I want to book an appointment. And then once they're ready to book an appointment, they send them to the prospect and the client, and then the client takes over from there. I have other clients, and actually I have clients that just do this. We actually do the whole appointment booking. So we'll book people on the calendar, and you can do that too. It's obviously simpler if you just do this, but if you want to go the extra mile, you can do this as well. Now, I have clients that just do these three things, and they charge anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000 a month. Why? Because it gets results, right? Like I said, like you can go and take a look at like our landing pages and go take a look at all the results we've gotten for our clients. Every result you see there will be because of DR and then ads. Okay. So our best case study for this client, $99,000 within 2 days, literally all DR. Okay. If you go and see some of our MedSpa clients, we had our best case study was a client who made $118,000 in 4 days. This was for cool sculpting, DR. Okay. And it's so easy because like making sales is a lot easier. It solves the sales problem because again, people already know and trust this client. And it solves the show problem for the exact same reason. So this is why it's like low hanging fruit. And if you can solve that problem for your client, then obviously the better. Most people leave a lot of money on the table because they're always focusing on getting new clients instead of reactivating the existing clients they already have. Okay. So you could get away with just doing this. Now, an optional thing, which I actually do recommend, if a client has a big database, let's say 3,000 to 5,000 contacts, then you can just do a database reactivation and you can run that. Like the way it works is that you send 50 to 100 messages per day, but you're not going to get through the entire list within just 30 days. Okay. So what you can do is like you can do that on the reoccurring. So I have clients that they just do database reactivation and that's all they do, and it continues to produce results for their clients and they're happy. That said, if your client's like, well, I want more leads or I want more, whatever, I want to make more money. Well, then yeah, do the Facebook ads for them. But a lot of clients are just happy doing this because you're helping them make money and it's really easy for them to get results. If you want to stack on Facebook ads or Google ads or TikTok ads or whatever it is you want to do, by all means, you can do it. You can add that. But it's kind of like an optional thing. I do recommend it because I think you have a bigger opportunity, like a bigger market to serve. That's one of the big things about this. Like the one thing that you will face is like finding clients that already have a big enough database. So what we do is that like we'll reactivate your database, but we'll also help you build your database by using things like Facebook ads, right? So that's the model. It's way more simple, right? And if you want one-on-one mentorship, this is like pretty legit. Like not a lot of people talk about this, but just shoot me a DM on Instagram and we can talk. In my experience, most people don't need another coaching program or they don't need like another course They need actual mentorship. Like they need one-on-one support and accountability from somebody who's done it and can actually get them there. Because most people are listening to a ton of people, shiny object everywhere. Look, man, just do the one thing that the person you're working with is telling you to do. Make money, because that's the most important thing. Like just make money, and then you can innovate from there. All right. And so if you want mentorship, hit me up. We can chat, and then that's it. But anyway, hopefully you guys found this insightful. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.